make you sad?
Absolutely not. If they want to fall, I say let them fall. In fact, falling leaves are a very good sign. It's when you see them jumping back onto the trees that you're in trouble.
See that leaf falling? This happens every year. This is known as one of the cycles of nature. There's a lesson to be learned from this. Do you know what it is? Don't be a leaf if you can be that tree.
Why does a person own a dog, Linus?
For security, I guess. For the security of knowing that there's at least one creature in the world who likes you.
What if that creature walks off and leaves you?
You don't let him leave you, Charlie Brown. You tie him up or lock him in the garage. You just don't understand security, Charlie Brown.
Same old dog food.
I thought we were going to have grilled swordfish, but I guess we're not.
I love grilled swordfish.
Do you know how to grill a swordfish? You ask it a lot of tough questions.
Well, look here, a big yellow butterfly. It's unusual to see one of those at this time of year, unless, of course, it flew up from Brazil. I bet that's it. They do that sometimes, you know. They fly up from Brazil. That's no butterfly. That's a potato chip. Well, I'll be. So it is. I wonder how a potato chip got all the way up here from Brazil. Hey, Fuzzy Face, sit up and I'll give you a reward. That's the way. Here, then, is a dog's greatest reward. A pat on the head by a human being.
What I need is a change. My life has become a bore. Everything is the same, day in and day out. I need a change.
I'd trade him in for a couple of goldfish. Why don't you give some serious thought to doing exactly that?
I wonder what would happen if I traded him in for a cat.
Either Woodstock is a lousy flyer, or his blood sugar is low.
Linus, do you think I should have my ears pierced? I have a better idea. Why don't you have your mouth boarded up?
For show and tell today, I have brought you an original document. This was written by an actual caveman and was discovered only recently by a farmer in Iowa. I came into its possession through the exchange of money and certain bits of valuable information. Show and lie is my best subject. Miss Hoffmar!
If I were to bring a TV dinner to school tomorrow, would I be allowed to use one of the ovens in the cafeteria to heat it up? I see. Have you ever noticed how a certain kind of question tends to really upset her? Question number 1, true, right off the bat. This is gonna be a cinch. True, false, false, true. There is definitely a pattern developing here. Oh, this one is really false. True, true, by golly, true.
Psst, Patty!
Huh? What? What's the matter?
You were getting kind of loud.
How embarrassing. It's easy to get carried away in these true or false tests. My report. On returning to school after summer vacation. No one can deny the joys of summer vacation with its days of warmth and freedom. It must be admitted, however, that the true joy lies in returning to our halls of learning. Is not life itself a learning process? Do we not mature according to our learning? Do not each of us desire that our teachers are opening our minds to a greater world? Oh, why thank you. I'm glad you liked it. As the years go by, you learn what sells. It's King Louis II. Well, if you subtract King Louis XIV from King Louis XVI, you get King Louis II, don't you? You don't? You're giving me a Z? A Z is not a grade. A Z is sarcasm.
Columbus Day by Sally Brown. This is my report.
I see.
Columbus Day was a very brave man. He wanted to sail around the world. The Queen said, I can give you 3 ships, Mr. Day.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I'm awake. No problem. I'm just a little whiplash. Please don't let her call on me today, please. Mentally, I'm begging on my knees, please, and I'll do anything you say. Only please don't let her call on me today. What? Yes, ma'am? The answer's 5. 8? 83? How would it be if I spelled Mississippi?
I too could have gone to school and become educated. I could have studied the Odyssey and Lord Jim and Bleak House. But just because I'm a dog, they say I can't go to their stupid school.
I like your new pants, Charlie Brown.
Thank you. I was just going to go down to the cafeteria and...
What's the matter?
A note. It feels like someone put a note in my pocket. I'll bet it was the little red-headed girl. I was sitting next to her, and I bet she slipped a note into my pocket. I bet she knows how much I admire her, and how much I've always wanted to meet with her. And I'll bet she's written me a note, telling me something. I'll bet that's it. Just think, a note, a real note.
Well, what does it say?
This garment has been inspected by operator number 23.
I wish I had a secret admirer. Someone who would send me flowers and little notes and things like that. And then all of a sudden, he would tell me who he was. Then you would need another secret admirer. Wouldn't it be wonderful to have your whole life to live over if you knew what you know now? What do I know now?
I know now that you can't bend a cracker, no matter how hard you try.
I know now that a smile makes a lousy umbrella. I know now that you can't bounce a snowball and have my life to live over, knowing what I know now. This is what I believe. I believe that the great pumpkin rises out of the pumpkin patch on Halloween night and flies through the air, bringing with him toys for all the children of the world. That's what I believe. Santa Claus has elves to help him. What does the great pumpkin have? Oranges? I have a theory, Sally. See what you think of it. I have a theory that on Halloween night, the great pumpkin will rise out of the pumpkin patch he picks as the most sincere.
I think you have very nice eyes, Linus, but you are completely out of your mind.
They want proof? All right, they're gonna get it. Patty? What? You and I are going to sit here in this pumpkin patch and wait. And we'll see the great pumpkin rise out of this pumpkin patch and fly through the air with our very own eyes. As a belief, I'd place that somewhere between the Tooth Fairy and the fat man with the flying reindeer. Here we are, Snoopy, sitting in the pumpkin patch waiting for the great pumpkin. Every Halloween night, the great pumpkin flies through the air with his bag of toys. And just think, if you and I sit here all night, we may get to see him. I really appreciate you sitting out here with me, Snoopy. I must admit, however, I've been wondering why you're wearing those dark glasses.
There are certain times when you prefer not to be recognized.
Of course, I realize that at times you must feel discouraged because more people believe in Santa Claus than in you. But let's face it, Santa Claus has more publicity. May I ask you something? Did the great squash ever show up? It's Pumpkin!
I have never seen the sky as blue as it is today.
Oh, I have. I remember back on July 14th, 1980, the sky was real blue. Oh, yes, it was much bluer that day. And then I also remember on September 2nd, 1981, the sky was a very deep blue. And on June 1st of the very next year, the sky was...
I can't stand it. I just can't stand it.
Aren't the clouds beautiful? They look like big balls of cotton. Oh, yes. I could just lie here all day and watch them drift by. You know, if you use your imagination, you can see all sorts of things in the clouds. What do you see, Charlie Brown? I see Prometheus, waving at me. What do you see?
Well, what do you see, Charlie Brown?
I was going to say a horsey and a ducky, but I changed my mind.
It. Sometimes we writers can take hours finding exactly the right word. It was a dark and stormy night, right. When suddenly a shot was heard, a shot was fired. When suddenly a shot rang out, inspired. A door slammed, the maid screamed, that's building suspense. When suddenly a pirate ship appears on the horizon. Appeared. While millions of people were starving. What? The king lives in luxury. Now to thicken the plot. Meanwhile, on a small farm in Kansas, a boy was growing up. End of part 1. For part 2. A light snow was falling, and the little girl with a tattered shawl had not sold a flower all day. She had not sold a violet all day. At that very moment, a young intern was making an important discovery. The mysterious patient in room 23 had suddenly awakened. She moaned softly. Could it be that she was the sister of the boy in Kansas who loved the girl with the tattered shawl, who was the daughter of the maid who had escaped from the pirates? The intern frowned. That has a good ring to it. See how neatly it all fits together?
What about the king?
Stampede, the foreman shouted, and 40,000 head of cattle thundered down the tiny ramp. 2 men rolled on the ground, grappling beneath the murderous hooves. A left and a right, a left and another left and a right, and an uppercut to the jaw. The fight was over, and so the ranch was saved. Sometimes when you're a great writer, the words come so fast you can hardly put them down on paper. The young intern sat by himself in the corner of the coffee shop. He had learned about medicine, but more important is, he had learned about life. Dear contributor, we are returning your stupid story. Give up. You are a terrible writer. Why do you bother us? We wouldn't use one of your stories if you paid us. Drop dead. Never send us another story. Get lost. Signed, the editors. It's just a Xerox form.
You know what I don't understand, Chuck? I don't understand love.
Who does?
Explain love to me, Chuck.
You can't explain love. I could recommend a book or a painting or a song or a poem, but I can't explain love.
Well, try, Chuck. Try to explain love.
Well, say I happen to see this cute little girl walk by, and
Why does she have to be cute, Chuck? Can't someone fall in love with a girl who isn't cute and has freckles and a big nose? Explain that, Chuck.
Well, maybe you're right. Let's just say then that I happen to see this girl walk by who has a great big nose, and
I didn't say a great big nose, Chuck.
You not only can't explain love, actually you can't even talk about it.
Well, there's something else that I'm sort of curious about. Do you think you'll ever get married, Chuck?
Oh, I suppose so. Just about everyone does.
Well, what kind of girl do you think you'll marry?
Well, I always kind of hate to talk about it, because I'm afraid it might sound silly. But I'd like the kind of girl who would call me poor, sweet baby.
Poor, sweet baby?
Uh-huh. If I was feeling tired or depressed or something, she'd cuddle up close to me, kiss me on the ear, and whisper, "Poor, sweet baby."
Poor, sweet baby. Forget it, Chuck. It'll never happen.
Well, I'll be.
Well, I'll be.
Who else do you know whose dog has just been promoted to head beagle?
Head Beagle? That stupid dog can't be Head Beagle. He'll bring ruination upon the country. He'll destroy us all. He's inept. He's incompetent. He's...
If you don't mind, the head beagle would like to be left alone to prepare his acceptance speech.
The biggest star measured so far has a diameter 2,000 times wider than that of the sun. I wonder how they measured it.
With a string.
The stars are beautiful, aren't they?
Uh-huh.
I think there must be a tiny star out there that is my star. And as I am alone here on Earth among millions of people, that tiny star is out there alone among millions of stars. Does that make sense, Patty? Do you think it means anything?
Sure does. It means you're cracking up, Chuck.